There's been a lot of talk in South Africa about Zuma. But I also know that the Queen is pissed off with Zuma because Zuma abandoned her and went to BRICS. And since Zuma cut off the Queen and went to BRICS, the UK is pissed off with Zuma. And I believe that the UK's media is intentionally selling a narrative to the people of South Africa so that they will rebel and revolt against Zuma in interest of the agenda of the United Kingdom. What I'm saying is if Zuma was doing what the Queen wanted him to do, all of the newspapers in South Africa would be reporting favorably on Zuma. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. If Zuma was doing what the Queen wanted him to do, if he was still being her flunky, I promise you, none of the South African newspapers would be reporting negatively on Zuma. None of them would be. So although he's made mistakes, I also see him trying to get a little bit of elbow room to do what he knows the ANC should have always been doing. Because the ANC has not been on a job. And I respect the ANC.
What do you think the BRICS Bank will do that the World Bank, IMF, and other development banks are not doing today?
Well, I'm not sure whether I could be the judge and indicate very specifically what are the banks that have been there for a long time have not been doing. But of course, we are dealing with the African leader who has been here for quite a while. There has been a concern from the African leaders that the existing banks that have been there before have not succeeded to produce an example country that was helped successfully and it is now thriving and doing everything. There's no country who can produce, not a single one. That has tended to give concern and therefore a mixed feeling. And that's why there's been a call that there must be a reform of these global financial institutions. And of course, they are old institutions. The BRICS Bank comes from among developing countries, comes from the South. It has said from the beginning, it is there to help countries develop, the developing countries. Certainly, it is going to have different approach, how it deals with struggling countries and developing countries. And that's a hope that we have, that it is going to do things differently. No country will go to the BRICS Bank and say, I need to be rescued, and find itself not being rescued but to more problems. We believe the countries that will deal with the BRICS Bank, they will be taken out of the problems and indeed to be helped so that they can stand on their own.
Well, the BRICS bloc is an important bloc globally. I think as the theme indicated, that BRICS partnership, a powerful factor in the global developments. It's absolutely correct. Firstly, BRICS has emerged from the countries, majority of the countries who are there, that could be termed as developing countries. BRICS brings about a new thinking, a new way of looking at things. You would imagine that the world, for an example, financially, has been dependent on the old financial institutions, whether you call it IMF or World Bank, etc., etc. Everything else was done according to what the world, or as people will describe it at times, the Western world. And I think the fact that you have this huge bank that belongs to this grouping based in Shanghai, in China, and its regional center for the first time having to be established in Africa, I think tells you that the world is moving in a particular way. Here is a bank orientated towards development of the developing countries, and therefore bringing in the kind of factor that has not been there before. So it is an important grouping that a country like South Africa, a leading economy in the continent, the membership of South Africa in BRICS represents 1 billion people of the African continent.
And therefore, it brings i-group ebaluleke ngendlela eyisimanga. I-South Africa kuyinkinga ngoba kusukela lesikhathi sikaMadiba ayizange ifune ukuzwa ngomuntu. Sinembono yethu, siyayikhulumela. Asikade siye nje kuya siyocela imali sidawubala sesiwe phansi. Uma sinjalo bese singena ku-BRICS kusho ukuthi sesiyabathukuthelisa labafo engikhohlwa amagama. Abathukutheli bayafa. Baze bathola ne-information obengafanele bayithole yokuthi kanti i-BRICS Bank le yaproposwa yi-South Africa. Bayifuna ke i-South Africa ishintshile ingahambi ngale ndlela. Ukushintsha kwe-South Africa kufuneka i-ANC iphela amandla. Kube khona abanye bazophatha noma uma iqhubeka iphethe kube yilabantu babo abazozwa bona ofanele babe phambili. Base beyikhethele eqinisweni abantu ababafunayo ukuze i-South Africa ihlukane nabo konke lokhu ekwenzayo ilalele bona. Abantu bethu bahlupheke inguna phakathi. Ilapha inkinga la ikhona. Bathi kunomongameli lapha. Lento ayenzayo yokushona ngala eze no BRICS use-influence omongameli base-Afrika kuyingozi akasuke. Abanye abantu enibezobe memeza ukuthi President Maserizani bathunyiwe banikezwe instruction ila mazwe engwakhohlwayo ukwabiza. Baqhuba instruction uma bengakwenzi lokho bazobenza ibukwabo. Ngiyazazi ke ukuthi zithini. Eke kodwa ngitshela. Sizokuvuma yini lokho ukuthi bese siphinde sibe izwe leyiphaphela. Yingakho nje uma iSouth Africa ijoina iBRICS kwabigadlile kulaba. Uma ubhekile kahle wonke amazwe akuBRICS ahlaselwe ngendlela eyisimanga. Kuqale kwavuka inkinga eRussia phakathi kwayo neUkraine. Kusa nje ungakabikho umhlangano kwathiwa siyayidoba iRussia sanctions. Uthe usathi ubheke lokho iBrazil kwavuka ivote of no confidence. Ngebhadi ke kubona yawoqala nje iqala ukuhlangana yamginqa upresident wakhona. I wanted to quicken the process of changing the position of a poor black person in South Africa. Base babona ukuthi kungcono ungayiqedi ngisho ithemba. Ngoba manje ngathola nje 1.5 year ngizokwenza lukhulu and ngangizolwenza ngempela. Sengizama ngayibizana.